What up, peeps? We are back, and yes, with the X Factors. And we're gonna dive in and take a look and see who's gonna be going absolute beast mode. This is to get you prepared for this August 20th release date that is literally right around the corner. And the X Factors have been highly anticipated and very much talked about. Throughout the whole Madden community, there's been a lot of engagement on what's OP, what's weak. So it's pretty dope that we can get an early peek at these. So let's dive right in, starting with the offensive abilities. We've got the ankle breaker. Truly devastating receiving threats are the ones that catch and can't be caught. When they enter the zone, they have increased fake out rates or spin juke hurdle after the catch. So your zone increased fake out rates on skill moves following the catch trigger 3 10+ yard receptions, knockout, 1 drop, incompletion, or 3 consecutive non-targets. And players with this ability is Christian McCaffrey, at no surprise. My man be out there destroying the ankles. Definitely fitting for his style. Then we got Bazooka. Quarterbacks with generational arms have the power to stretch any defense to its breaking point. When they enter the zone, their maximum throw distance is increased. Zone max throwing distance increased 83 yards total while in the zone. Good lord. Trigger 1 completed pass of 30+ yards in the air, a knockout, just 1 sack, and this is Patrick Mahomes. Now this ability looks to be pretty strong. And it's Mahomes. It's going to be ridiculous. So the next one is Blitz Radar. Successful quarterbacks stay cool and stand confident against a blitz. When they enter the zone, all blitzing linebackers and defensive backs are highlighted. Can be bluffed. Ooh, I like that. Zone highlights extra blitzers. Trigger 3 scrambles of 10+ yards, knockout, 2 sacks. This is to Russell Wilson. Man, I like that highlight ability. That's really dope. That's really nice. Now we got Double Me. Aggressive receivers overpower defenders and attack the football when they enter the zone. This ability increases their success rate on aggressive catches against single coverage. Zone wins aggressive catches versus single coverage. Trigger 2 receptions of 20+ yards in the air, knockout, 1 drop, incompletion, or 3 consecutive non-targets. And this is active for players Travis Kelce, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, and Mike Evans. I like this. I'm digging the zone. Wins aggressive catches versus single coverage. That could definitely flip things around. And just the fact that they can overpower their defenders when they get in that zone. It's pretty dope. First one free. Some players thrive on making defenders look silly, and that's exactly what the zone is. High fake out rate on next juke, spin, or hurdle. Trigger 3 rushes of 10 yards plus, knockout, tackle for loss, and this is for Dalvin Cook and Saquon Barkley. This one's okay. If you can get in that zone and get that extra fake out, it's kind of on the same line as of the Christian McCaffrey one, but it's all good. Then we got Freight Train. Freight Trains are relentless runners who refuse to go down on first contact. When they enter the zone, this ability increases their chance to break the next tackle. So you have your zone, increased chance to break the next tackle attempt. Trigger 3 rushes for 10 yards plus, knockout, 1 tackle for loss. And I expected this for Derrick Henry and Ezekiel Elliott. These are very fitting. Overall, this ability, it's not terrible. I guess it depends on your style, especially, it just all depends. If you're utilizing these players, Henry or Elliott, you'll gain some extra yards when you get in that zone. But it's not really guaranteed. It's that increased chance, so you gotta roll the dice. You got the Gambler. The best quarterbacks learn to take calculated risks. When they enter the zone, they can't be intercepted by AI defenders and have increased throw speed. So zone faster passes that can't be picked off by AI defenders. Trigger 3 consecutive completions of 5+ yards, and then the knockout is 2 incompletions, and this goes to Aaron Rodgers. Now this is really dope. Just to be guaranteed that you cannot be picked off by AI defenders, that's strong alone. So Yeah, that's really dope. We got max security. A sure hand receiver is a quarterback's best friend when they enter the zone. This ability increases their success rate and decreases knockout chance on possession catches. So you have the zone, high success rate on possession catches, trigger 4 consecutive receptions, knockout 1 drop, incompletion, or 3 consecutive non-targets. This is for Amari Cooper, Michael Thomas, and Keenan Allen. And this isn't too bad. I mean, getting those 4 consecutive receptions, that's, I mean, your trigger is definitely the key there. Is that number too high? Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. I guess it's all going to depend on your style. If you're able to sling it and get that trigger to get in that zone, then these receivers will just go ham. We got pro reads for great quarterbacks. Vision and anticipation are paramount. When they enter the zone, their first open receiver is highlighted and they ignore defensive pressure. Whoa. Okay, right off the bat, that's strong. So your zone highlights the first open target and ignores pressure. Trigger 3 consecutive completions of 5+ yards, and the knockout is 1 sack, and this goes to Tom Brady. This is overpowered. This is, I mean, it should be. I mean, it's Tom Brady, but yeah, this is really solid. Okay, got rack 'em up. Rack receivers fight for every possible yard after making a catch when they enter the zone. This ability increases their success rate on rack catches against single coverage. So the zone wins rack catches versus single coverage. Trigger 3 receptions of 20+ yards, knockout 1 drop in completion, or 3 consecutive non-targets. I think this one's really strong. I mean, if you're going to win those catches versus single coverage and just chew up some more yardage, I mean, that's really solid. This one goes to Stephon Diggs and Tyreek Hill. We got the satellite. Some running backs have the talent to be elite receivers. When they enter the zone, this ability increases their success rate on possession and rack catches against single coverage. So your zone wins rack and possession catches versus single coverage. Trigger, make 3 10-yard receptions, knockout 1 drop in completion, or 3 consecutive non-targets. This is for Alvin Kamara. And this is very similar to the rack 'em up ability, which I already said is pretty solid. So this one, yeah, I can mess with this one too. Then we got Truz or Trues. How do you want to say that? But the most effective ball carriers prioritize maintaining possession over all else. When they enter the zone, no tackles made against them will result in a fumble. Oh snap. This one right off the bat, this goes to Lamar Jackson. This one is ridiculous. Can't fumble when in the zone. I mean, you could just run all wild. You're not going to drop the ball and just take all kind of crazy chances. This one is dope. Yeah, I like this one. Zone, can't fumble when in the zone. Trigger 5+1 yard runs. Knockout 1 tackle for loss. So wrecking ball runners don't avoid contact. They create it. When they enter the zone, this ability increases their success rate on trucks and stiff arms. So the zone, high success rate on the next 3 trucks or stiff arms. The trigger, 3 rushes, 10 yards plus. The knockout, tackle for loss. Shout out to my Browns, because this is for Nick Chubb. And I'll be utilizing this very much through my franchise and my season. And our final offensive ability is yak 'em up. The best physical receivers don't just come down with the ball, they carry it home. When they enter the zone, they are nearly guaranteed to break their first post-catch tackle. So your zone is increased chance to break the first post-catch tackle. Trigger 3 20+ yard receptions, knockout 1 drop in completion, or 3 consecutive non-targets. This is for George Kittle and Darren Waller. And this one's pretty solid too. I mean, anytime you get a chance to break the tackle, at least a higher chance, especially if you get that single coverage or something, that could be really good. All right, let's get into the defensive abilities. We have Avalanche. They are tacklers, and then there are these guys. When they enter the zone, any successful hit stick made while running towards the line of scrimmage will result in a fumble. Oh, okay. So the zone downhill hit sticks, force fumbles, trigger 3 hit stick tackles, knockout, 30 offensive yards allowed. Players with this ability are Bobby Wagner and Jamal Adams. This is strong right off the bat. If you can get those downhill hit sticks and force the fumbles, I mean, I like this avalanche ability. We got the Blitz. Effective D-line captains aren't just examples to follow, they are motivators. When they enter the zone, all opposing blockers have their resistance bars wiped out. Ooh, hold up. Okay, this one's for Aaron Donald. Oh, I like this. I like this one a lot. So the zone on-field blockers have their resistance bars wiped. Trigger 2 defensive line sacks. Knockout, 1 down played. So if you get 2 sacks, get in that zone, you're just gonna blow up the offensive line. Okay, I like this one. Then we have bottleneck. Bottleneck defenders realize that the best way to stop the route is to act early when they enter the zone. They are highly likely to dominantly win any man press encounter. So the zone dominantly win man press attempts, trigger 2 forced incompletions, knockout, 30 offensive yards allowed. This is for Jalen Ramsey. This one's interesting. The knockout worries me though, because allowing 30 offensive yards that don't seem I mean that don't seem too hard to do. But then again, you can trigger it fast because you could force 2 incompletions. That's definitely doable. So, that's an interesting one. Fear Monger. Some pass rushers intimidate quarterbacks with their sheer presence. When they enter the zone, they can apply significant pressure on quarterbacks, even while engaged with blockers. So your zone, chance to pressure the QB while engaged with the blocker, trigger 2 defensive line sacks, knockout, 20 offensive yards allowed. And this ability is for Fletcher Cox, Chandler Jones, and Von Miller. I like this one. Any pressure on the QB. I'm all about that defense. But I mean, your trigger, you got to get those 2 sacks. Then we got momentum shift. Players demoralize their opponents when they enter the zone. All on-field opponents are knocked out of the zone or lose any progress toward entering the zone. So your zone on-field opponents have zone progress wiped. Trigger 2 defensive line sacks. Knockout, 1 down played. This one's pretty good too. Momentum shift. I can dig that. This one's pretty dope. And if you can achieve this against some of those, against like a Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes, if you could trigger that and wipe, get that momentum shift and wipe that zone progress, that this would be really good. And this ability is for Chris Jones. Got reinforcement. The game's top defenders excel in all situations when they enter the zone. This ability increases their chance of defending run blocks and disrupting catches via tackles. So your zone, higher chance to defeat run blocks and disrupt catches. The trigger, 2 tackles for a loss or 2 incompletions. The knockout, 10 offensive yards allowed. And this one's for Matthew and Darian James Jr. Then we have Relentless. The most tenacious defenders beat their blocks by sheer force of will when they enter the zone. Their rush move attempts are free. So your zone, rush moves no longer cost points. Your trigger, 1 sack or tackle for loss. Knockouts, 20 offensive yards allowed. This is for JJ Watt and Nick Bosa. This one's really strong. I mean, without a doubt. I mean, your rush moves are going to cost no points. And all you have to do is get 1 sack or a tackle for loss. Yeah, they're going to be beast mode in there. We have run stuffers. So run stuffers can single-handedly disrupt an offense. When they enter the zone, this ability increases their win rate and block shed speed against one-on-one run blocks. So your zone block shedding becomes more effective versus run plays. Trigger, 2 tackles for loss. Knockout, 30 offensive yards allowed. This one's for Levante David. This one's decent. It's not too bad. Not as strong as some of the others, but this could come in handy from time to time. We have the Shutdown. Shutdown defenders have the talent to erase receivers from the game. When they enter the zone, their coverage is tighter and interceptions are more frequent, and contested catches. Whoa, this is nice. Tighter coverage and more interceptions on contested catches. Your trigger 2 forced incompletions, knock out 30 offensive yards allowed. This is for Jair Alexander, Trey White, Stephon Gilmore. This is really good. I like this one, especially going against those offensive juggernauts. And all you need is 2 forced incompletions. This could lead to making really good plays on defense. And then we have the unstoppable force. Elite pass rushers are a mix of strength, speed, and tenacity. When they enter the zone, this ability increases their win rate and block shed speed against one-on-one pass blocks. So your zone pass rush wins lead to quicker block shedding, trigger 2 defensive line sacks, knockout 10 defensive yards allowed. This is for DeForest Buckner, Daniel Hunter, Cameron Jordan, Joey Bosa, Khalid Mack, TJ Watt, and Myles Garrett. Yeah, this is really nice. And I wanted to note not to be confused because I was tripped out too. So we got Joey Bosa and TJ Watt for the Unstoppable Force. For a second there, I thought they both had Unstoppable Force and Relentless, but it was their brothers JJ and Nick. They flipped it on us right there. And for the final defensive ability, we have Zone Hawk. So Zone Hawk defenders lock down a part of the field. When they enter the zone, this ability increases the rate of interceptions while in zone coverage. So zone, more interceptions in zone coverage, trigger 2 force incompletions. The knockout is 30 offensive yards allowed. This is for Xavier Howard, Devin McCourty, and Fred Warner. If you like to run zone, this is a nice ability to look forward to for those who like to run zone quite frequently. And alright peeps, that's it. Just want to share and talk about the full list of X Factors that were released. The overall list is pretty solid. You have some good, some average, some okays. You could see how these could really affect gameplay, which I love, because once you get these unlocked, I mean, you could flip. You could shift the momentum and really be able to disrupt whether the offense, the defense, maybe having a bad first half. Unlocking any of these abilities and making a play could really shift things into your favor. So let us know what you think about this list in the comments. Are you excited about these abilities? Would you like to see any more diversity? Or if you could think of any abilities that aren't on this list that you think would be pretty interesting. Alright peeps, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe as usual. We will be back with more sports gaming updates, news, gameplay, all sports gaming. Alright peeps, you know what it is. Until next time, Gia.